why is the word don't so confusing to your mind and why is it so negative?
It just doesn't process negatives well. And so when it's hearing do and don't, subconscious mind doesn't discern really the language. And so it generates pictures. So
Hmm.
that's the real power of your self-talk. If you're what you're saying is actually building the mental image. So don't slice it. The brain has to generate that image. And if we don't
Mm.
correct that image, the brain is assuming that's your goal. So look at the high efficiency rate of how well you execute after the don'ts, because it has a nice clear picture of what you're not wanting to do. The brain goes, okay, I got the goal. All right. And now you've seen a swing to produce this. It's just so powerful. And you go, oh my gosh. So again, it's double work. I mean, I'm a lazy guy in many ways. I don't want to have to do double work. That's why I train myself to think positive because I'm
Hmm.
starting with the picture that I want to create. But again, the brain doesn't process negative language well. It will generate that picture, assume it's the goal. So it's really just a matter of new goal setting for your shots. So speaking in terms of what you do want is again articulating, creating a whole different visual image. But if you're speaking in don't, you generate the picture. Now you have to deconstruct it, construct a new one. It takes way more work. And at very best, most people are split-minded, and that's going to lead to a performance breakdown. So
Mm.
it's just much, much easier to streamline it for yourself and start getting into that habit. If you find yourself saying, hey, don't go and, slice it over into OB, simple thing, you just say, hey, second chance. You don't have to
Mm.
get hard on yourself. You don't have to do anything. When you recognize it, you go, hey, second chance. That's not actually what I'm looking for. Now begin to realign your language to it. Other saboteur words that people use too. I mean, people do not pay attention to the words. The words have so much power because, again, it's building the mental movie that's going to be guiding you like it's your goal. And your subconscious mind and your brain's job is just a goal achieving machine. It's got 13 trillion brain cells, all designed to manifest the things that you're thinking about. But other words are try. Try implies a lot of failure. It's a hook. Oh, I'll try to hit this fairway. Oh, I didn't do it. I tried. You see, and so again, we can strengthen it already by just committing to doing something. What am I committed to doing? Second chance, John. No, I'm not trying to do anything. What am I committed to doing? Making a nice, confident move here, and I'm striping it down the center. Hoping. I hope I play well, right? These things are scary. If you take it out of the golf language, right? You go to the doctors, they're going to put you into surgery and say, hey, Michael, we're pretty new at this. We hope we get it right. Man, you're running out of the doctor's office. You go to the mechanics. I never installed brakes like this before. We hope we installed it right. What do you mean you hope? Am I going to stop at the stop sign or not? But yet it sounds ridiculous in these contexts. But think about how you're talking to yourself and how wishy-washy that word hope is. I hope I play well. I just invested all this time into my practice, my mental game. I've been playing swingless. I hope I go out and can do good, right? Let's shift it to knowing. That one word shift gives you a better feeling thought. I know I can go play well because I've been putting the time in. I can be confident here and know I can go in and play good because I'm progressing. And there's just so much if you just listen to the language and the way it makes you feel inside. If it gives you kind of like a queasy or a feeling, it's the time to employ a second chance and move towards a better feeling thought because you can change your confidence just by a word choice. I hope I get off the tee well. I know I can. There's just a whole different thing, and it's up to you. You can pick your language. We can choose to approach it with confidence. And one other thing that's helped me a lot, and I'm sorry to ramble, there's shots we have faced, right? And you're like, oh gosh, I might lay sod all over this one. This is like, it's something really uncomfortable. A little mental hack is to give yourself permission to either fail forward fast or just say, hey, I'm going to make my mistake with confidence. Give yourself permission to make a confident mistake. Hey, you may lay saw over, but you're not going to decel. Let's just step up and choose to be confident if we're going to make a mistake. And I'm telling you, if you kind of employ that kind of weird little thing there, it's amazing how much freedom it gives you. It starts giving you permission to screw up, which is okay. It's how we learn, it's how we grow. And you actually get a better shot off there. But watch some of the language that you're using. And again, second chance. Second chance is just such a powerful thing we can do. You can't defeat the negative language by getting more negative. So you either have to employ second chance or do self-forgiveness, which isn't talked about a lot in golf, but it is another really powerful thing to stop that internal battle as you start to get more positive or you're starting to get a rut of negative thinking. Forgiveness just puts an end to it. So try to employ that, direct your mind to what you want, and you're going to get a better result. And it's why you're putting in the time. So honor yourself in that regard.
If you're ready to get started with mental golf type, make sure to use the code WICKEDSMART at checkout and you're going to save 25% on your investment.
Man, yeah, I love the second chance. I think I've never even thought about that because I mean, yeah, like you said, you're still gonna, it might have, you see the water and maybe you went in there last time or that out of bounds and it's like, don't do that again. And I'm like, oh no, now but it's like second chance is like a quick little reset that I think can help. And what was the last part you just said? Like if you're the sod example, like to fail forward, and there was something else that you'd.
Well, a concept I used a lot in my life to overcome, because I mean, even embarking on something like MGT, I mean, there's a lot of doubts that come in along the way. I mean, it's been a
Mhm.
long journey. Am I on the right path? Is this right? Am I doing this correct? Is my writing okay? It's like there's just so many different components. But I had a great teacher that talked to me about that mentality of fail forward fast. And it seems negative at first. Like I'm a big language guy, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I don't know if that sits right with me. But then I'm like, that's really brilliant and profound because so many people fear failure. Well, I'm not going to peg it because, what if I screw up? What's that going to be like with people? They don't realize that like failure is the learning opportunities, and everybody who's got anything great has made a lot of mistakes along the way, but they're just not fearful of taking action, getting out there and getting the learning examples. So for me, what I was trying to do is embrace more of a growth mentality and say, hey, if I'm going to screw up, let's just fail forward fast. If that's the way to get to the goal, like to hit good shots, you have to hit a lot of bad shots in order to get a pure golf swing. Well, so the longer you hesitate, the more you put off, the longer it takes you to get to your greatness. And so I don't see failure as like an event or any of those things. I see it one thing only is inaction. And so as long as I'm taking action, I'm learning and I'm succeeding. I'm either going to do it or I'm going to learn. And one of the ways I've adapted that into the golf side is, look, mistakes happen, but what's the mistake that I'm going to be more disappointed with? Let's say with a tough lie around the green. I'm going to be much more disappointed in me going in there wishy-washy, making an uncommitted swing, decelling, and then laying sod all over the ball just to see it flood, right? And just flop forward. I'd much rather hit it confidently and go way over the green or do something like that where at least I stepped in confidently, made a swing and kind of went for it. And so what I started telling myself is you know what? Hey, a mistake might happen here. That's okay. This is actually a really difficult shot, even for someone like on tour or a professional. This is a demanding shot. So, hey, I might screw it up, but let's approach this with confidence. And it's a choice with confidence to say, hey, if I'm going to make a mistake, I want to do it this way. So at least I can keep my momentum going. I can
Mhm.
feel good at least about the way I stepped into it. And then sure enough, once you've gotten over that fear of failure, you've given yourself permission to make a mistake and to just go for it. It usually works out pretty good. And there's been so many times I kind of surprised myself with like, whoa, that like actually turned out really well there. Where before I would have went in there, chunked it, put sod all over the ball, whatever. And now feeling like really defeated and deflated because I knew I had the picture in my mind, I didn't correct it, and I allowed that to take place. And so that's kind of how I've kind of played some little games to overcome that for me and just say, hey, go for it. And if you're going to make a mistake, do it with confidence.
I love that. If you're gonna make a mistake, do it with confidence. That's gonna stick with me. I think too, because yeah, there's nothing worse than standing over a shot and you're just still not 100% committed, and then you just give it that half-ass effort, and you're like, well, of course it
And
turned out
that's when
bad.
the big mistake happens, right?
Yeah.
Where if you're really committed and you say, hey, I'm just going to go for it with confidence, if I make the mistake, still your dispersion and your mistakes become so
Hmm.
much smaller because we're actually not putting forth a better effort. And so again, it just leads to another scoring opportunity. It might not be perfect, but you still
Hmm.
maybe a 40-foot putt rather than something tighter, but you're still now actually making a positive action.
Yeah, well, we always talk about the word don't, but I hadn't even really thought about hope and try either. I think those are ones that now it's like I'm gonna be every time I hear my playing partners now, I'm gonna be like, what are we saying there? Yeah, those are the
And the
big
other real
three.
big one, the other real big one that you'll never feel good if you use is should. I tell my players, don't should all over yourself.
Right.
When do you feel good when you should? I should have done this. Oh, I should
Hmm.
have done it that way. Oh, why did this? I should be this way. It's just it's a terrible word. Just kind of go second chance when you hear that come up and hit a reframe.
Hmm. So if those words do come up, then like you said, we'll go with the second chance, and then we'll just have to, like you said, deconstruct that don't image and get more clear about what we want. So that way you can walk into that shot and, like you said, fail with confidence or have that commitment level at least. So the dispersion is a lot better, even if it isn't a perfect shot.
Yeah, 100%.